The F-150 Platinum is a beautiful truck. It's available with either the 5-liter V8 engine standard, we've got the 3.5 EcoBoost, the 3.5 Power Boost, or this, the F-150 Lightning Platinum. I'm excited to share this vehicle with you today. But before we get started, I want to give Formula Ford a huge shout out and thank you for giving me access to this truck to shoot the video for you guys today. Check in the description below for their contact details if you want to order a truck, whether that's a Power Boost, F-150, Lightning, or anything else in the Ford Lincoln vehicle. Formula Ford has you covered. Now, I'm actually kind of excited about the Lightning for a few reasons. It's got incredible range, great towing capability, but the Platinum truck in general is incredible. It's fairly feature loaded and packed. We do have our fully reclinable seats. I kind of love it. It's got massage chair seats. You can use them in combination. It's got the partitioned lockable rear storage and a ton of other features. Now, the Platinum F150 is strictly going to be available in the SuperCrew configuration, which means that we're looking at this. 4 full doors. We don't have the option for the Super Cab, unfortunately, but this truck is really, really nice. Now, there are a few small changes from the 2022 to the 2023 model year. And when I say small, like pretty small changes. There's nothing different in the F-150 Platinum, whether you look at the regular gas engine, the hybrid, or the Lightning version of the truck, with the exception of some colors. So this one is the Space White, unfortunately not going to be available in the 2023 model year. It's getting replaced with a new color called Avalanche, which I believe is going to be pretty much on par with the way this thing looks. A few other nice ones. Hot Pepper Red is also coming into the F-150 lineup, which is kind of nice. But starting off with some basics, like we've got nice styling here. The wheels inside of the truck, the Platinum specifically, are going to be either a 20 or 22-inch tire, just depending on which version of the vehicle that you're in. Because by default, it's going to be a 20-inch when we've got the regular gas version of the vehicle. But when we get into the Lightning, we've got these beefy 22-inch grabber tires, and the rim looks great. Performance that you're going to get inside of the tire itself is really nice. We do have our F-150 Platinum badge along the door here, and this is the charge door because this is the Lightning version of the F-150. So the Platinum version of the F-150 Lightning is strictly available with the extended range battery, so best possible range, killer towing capacity on top of that. For an electric truck, it's pretty good. But if you want more of a rundown on the F-150 Lightning in general, check in the description below for that full walk around. You can also find walk-arounds for the interior technology, like how to use the Sync 4 media screen to set up Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, using navigation, setting charge times, and things like that. Moving towards the front end of the truck, I did mention that this one does have the forward sensing system, and it also does have a front-facing camera that we can find right inside of the grille. And it looks really sharp. Now, the grille in this one, obviously, because it's the Lightning, it looks slightly different than what you're gonna find in the regular F-150 Platinum. It still looks really nice. So, I mean, we've got this nice like diamond texture all the way throughout. You've got different grills that are gonna be available when we get into the regular gas version of the truck. But because it's the Platinum, like I said, feature loaded, so we've got our front-facing camera, our side view mounted cameras, and our backup camera. So this thing has support for full 360, which is incredible. Now, we do have some nice highlights all the way throughout, so we're gonna get similar styling when we're in the regular, so the gas version versus the Lightning. We've got our nice black-white contrasts, obviously just depending on the body color, but that contrast between the black and the white looks pretty nice. Moving down a tiny little bit more, we do also have our front tow hooks, and we've got 2 hooks on the front end of the vehicle there, which is definitely a nice thing. But let's take a peek underneath the hood. So I mentioned this is the Lightning specifically, so it's not going to have much under there. It's still kind of cool. One of the neat things is that we've got the flexibility of using the key fob in order to open up the frunk. Well, let's have a quick peek. Now, taking a peek underneath the frunk of the F-150 Lightning, there's obviously nothing here outside of a boatload of storage space. It's kind of crazy. Now, I mean, obviously, if I was in the regular gas engine, I would not be doing this right now. But because we're in the electric, we do have all of this space, which is fantastic. Now, a couple things to think about. The F-150 Platinum doesn't have the entire range of engines available for it. We've got either the 5-liter Coyote V8, we've got the 3.5 EcoBoost, the 3.5 Power Boost Hybrid, or the Lightning. So we've got the fully electric version of the truck. So you're not going to find the regular 3.3 liter or the 2.7 EcoBoost inside of this thing whatsoever. And that's the same whether you're in the 22 versus the 23, it's going to be the exact same setup there for engine options. But the power inside of this thing is pretty dang good. Like the 5-liter V8 is good. You've got your 3.5 power boost if you're concerned about, you know, getting better mileage out of it. So the power boost is going to have infinitely better performance in comparison to just the regular 3.5 liter EcoBoost. So that's that hybrid side of it. But it is crazy how many different options that we've got underneath the hood here. But I mean, look at the dimensions of the frunk. Like it's kind of crazy when you look at it. I'm going to spin you around just to give you a little bit more of like a heads-on view. Hold on, here we go. Da, 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 da. All right, there we go. So the frunk inside of the Lightning is fairly spacious, which is good. I mean, obviously, if you were in the gas or the hybrid version of the truck, you just wouldn't have any sort of storage in the front end there. But it is nice that inside of the electric, we have so much space. Now, there's not too much feature-wise inside of the frunk. Like, we've got some cargo tie-downs and things like that, access to the 12-volt battery there. There is a removable tray. So this thing, it's beefy, it's weighty. We've got our charge cord underneath. And we've also got a little drain plug there on top of that. Outside of that, we do have a little button there, and that's the frunk release. In case somebody gets trapped inside, they can open up from the inside. And then we also do have this. So 2.4 kilowatt hours worth of... Bee! Oh my God. So outrageous. Good job! Bees! All right. And then we've also got this. So 2.4 kilowatt hours worth of power. And the way it's broken up inside of the Lightning is different. So we've got 2.4 in the front, 2.4 in the back. But we've got a boatload of plugs here, like 4 individual wall outlets. We've got a USB power point, so USB as well as a USB-C that you'll be able to find in here. Just kind of crazy. We've also got a little light button to turn on lights that we've got just on the overhead there, which is kind of nice. Now, I did mention it when we were looking at the frunk. We do have a few different options for charging. So level 1, level 2 charging or supercharging. You could just do a regular 240, so a level 2 at home, so just get an electrician to install that outlet. You can also do a Ford home charging station as well. And I mean, it's really straightforward. So charging this thing up, really, really simple. When we look at the gas versions of the Platinum, fuel quality and fuel economy, I'm gonna have those numbers showing up, but fuel quality, just your regular 87 gas is all you need to use inside of this thing. So you don't need to worry about using any sort of premium fuel. Like I know gas prices right now, we're at what? Oh yeah, $1.85 a liter today. A liter, so it's ridiculous the way gas prices are, but just go in knowing you don't have to worry about using a premium fuel inside of this truck when you're in the gas version of the vehicle. Towards the back end of the truck, so slightly different look in the electric than what we're gonna find inside of the gas versions of the vehicle. Specifically the way that some of the moldings go and our taillights and things like that, but it still looks really nice regardless of whether you're in the gas or the electric version of the Platinum truck. It's really nice. Now, a few small things to point out back here. So we've got our Ford badge there, F150 badge along the back. We've got a backup camera up there on top of that. And one of the cool things about the backup camera is through the Sync 4 media screen, we can have it so that it's just a generic backup camera, or we can push down so that we can see what's going on with the hitch. So if we're trying to back ourselves up in order to be able to connect a trailer, you've got that flexibility of looking down. I just think that's a brilliant idea. I love that Ford's brought that into this vehicle. You can see there, we've got a reverse sensing system. Nice, goes in tandem with that with those forward sensors. We've got our 4 7-pin provisions on top of that. And then we also have a little keyhole, and that's going to be to unlock our spare tire that's located just underneath the vehicle. When we look at tow numbers inside the vehicle, it's literally all over the place. It's going to depend on how you have the truck configured. Are you 4x2, 4x4? Do you have the 5-liter V8 or the 3.5 EcoBoost or the Power Boost? So I'm going to have some different numbers showing up that are going to touch on all of the different options that are available, looking at towing inside of the Platinum version specifically. The Lightning, 10,000 pound towing capacity, which is nice, but there are so many things you have to take into account. Your payload, your towing, so many things, because you look at payload inside of this, and that's a beast like in and of itself, not just for the electric, but for the regular gas F-150. We've got max payload and max towing packages that are available, but certain packages require lower versions of the truck. So what you have to ask yourself is, what do you need out of it? Because if you're looking at nickel and diming not only your max payload, max towing, things like that, you might want to look at a Super Duty if you're really getting close to those cutoff numbers. Now, I know obviously if you're dead set on getting an electric truck, these things do have their own kit limits as of right now. But hopefully, I mean, Ford's made a promise that they're looking at going fully electric. I believe it's by 2035. So that should mean, like, could you imagine like a Super Duty Power Boost or a Lightning, like a Super Duty Lightning? I think that would be incredible. Like a fully electric truck that can pull like 30,000 pounds, I think would be absolutely amazing. We're getting there. I think we're going to see it in the next couple of years, especially with the way that Ford's looking at pushing forward this EV technology. But a few other things to point out. We've got a little button right above our backup camera, and that's going to be in order to open and close the lift gate of the vehicle, or the tailgate of the vehicle. We can also do that on the key fob, but I mean single button press. It's really straightforward, but let's have a quick peek. All right, so the bed dimensions for the truck are going to be showing up. And I mean, as you can see there, we have a nice amount of space. We do have the option for either the 5.5 or the 6.5 foot box inside of the Platinum version of the F150. So if you need a little bit more space, you've got that option. Unfortunately, as of right now, we don't have the flexibility of getting, I mentioned, the Super Cab or the regular cab version in the Platinum. I can't see that changing anytime soon either. So we're strictly looking at the SuperCrew configuration. And as I mentioned, either the 5.5 or 6.5 foot box, which is nice. Now you can make out here, just looking at the Ford badge along the very back, that this one does have the spray-in bed liner. And we know that it's the factory liner because it's got the Ford badge along the back there. So whether you go for the factory spray-in, if you could do a drop-in, you can do some aftermarket things. There are a ton of options available. Now, my own personal preference is using Line-X. And the big reason why is because it's about twice as thick as the factory liner, and it also has a lifetime warranty. So it's really going to be a matter of preference which way you go. I know one of the benefits, obviously, spraying right from the factory, it's a couple bucks cheaper, so it's going to be a matter of preference there. And whether you go for the drop-in or spray-in, the question you have to ask yourself is, what are you doing with it? Because the plastic one's easy enough to rip out in order to replace, but I mean, these things, the spray-in, they're really nice all at the same time. Now, one other nice thing is that this also has the tailgate step. So we've got a little button along the back there. We're just going to push, pull. We follow the yellow. So we go up, 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 and we've got our tailgate step up. Now, one of the benefits there is that if we need to get in and out of the bed of the truck multiple times, having the tailgate step is unbelievably useful. And the big reason why it's useful is exactly that. If you're getting in and out of the vehicle constantly, it will be infinitely easier in order to do that using this. Like, I'm 6 feet tall, I could get in and out regardless, but if you're a little bit shorter or bad knees, whatever the case may be, it is very useful. Now, could you do something aftermarket? If you can find one of these gates from a wrecked F150, yeah, you technically could. And the reason why is because this thing is fully removable too. Like, we've just got some bolts essentially that are holding this thing in. So you could technically replace this whole thing if you wanted to, but there are so many options for the back end of the truck. Like I mentioned, we've got our spray and drop in bed liners. We do have the option for a few other things. So if you wanted to get some different types of rails, you could do that. Tonneau covers, whether that's a trifold hard top, if you want a soft top, like literally sky's the limit for what you can do for the truck. There are all sorts of different things like loading ramps. So if you wanted to be able to get toys in and out of the truck that are fully mountable, so you've got that flexibility right from the factory. And one of the cool things is that we also could use the emergency access key for a few different things. Getting access to the spare tire. If you had the running board, or if you had the loading ramps, I should say, you'd be able to use the spare key. And then this one also has the Partitioned lockable storage, which I'll show you when we get inside, but we could use the key, the emergency access key, in order to be able to lock that thing on top of that. So it's pretty crazy what can be done inside of this truck. Now, as we get into the left side of the bed of the truck, we've got a few things we can look at. So there is a little button right on the outside there, and that's going to be for our bed lighting. So that's going to turn on a few lights along the back and then along the very top on top of that. So many options. And then to the left side here, so we've got a little PowerPoint set up. So we've got a whole boatload of wall outlets. So we've got 4 total wall outlets. And then along the very top, we also do have a 240. So if you've got things like arc welders, you could potentially plug that in order to be able to power them up if you're on job sites, which is really nice. And then speaking of job sites, the tailgate itself also does have measurement units. We've got some clamps. We've got some bottle openers along the side on top of that. All right, now taking a peek along our driver's side door, we've got our blind spot system. So that's going to highlight orange right there if somebody's entered the blind spot of the vehicle. Just underneath the mirror, we also do have our camera there, and that's going to be part of the 360 setup. And then we've also got our zone lighting on the outside. So if we need to turn that on, we've got a light that's going to shine in order to make things a little bit brighter for us at night. Taking a peek at the door itself, we've got a few things. So as long as we've got our key fob on us, we can actually press there if we want to lock the door. We can slide in if we want to unlock. And we can also press the 2 buttons here if we want to be able to lock the door. So we've got a 5-digit factory number. We can program in our own unique code if we want to, but it is kind of cool. We can press there to lock, we can press there to lock, and then we can press here in order to be able to unlock the door on top of that. And as we start to move inside, so we've got this nice white stitching, follows all the way throughout the door, onto the inside, follows all the way throughout the dash, all the way throughout there on top of that. But that white stitching also follows through here. We've got this beautiful seat that does feature the option for massage chair as well as max recline, which is fantastic. But back to the door, we've got this nice grain, so nice wood look there. We've got our seat memory buttons on top of that, so 3 individual seats, our seat settings, I should say. We've got our unlock and our lock button. We're in our side view mirror control. We do have power folding side view mirrors, so we can push and hold. Hello, in order to be able to open and close these things. We also do have our basic window up and down, door handle. We've got a nice glossy highlight along the door. Down from there, we've got a little storage area, even more storage as we move down from there. So lots of storage throughout this vehicle. Now, moving inside, so this is the Platinum, which means that we do have our nice Platinum badge right along the scuff plate there, and that's the same for the driver passenger side. We've got this beautiful metallic highlight that runs all the way throughout the side of the seat, follows through all of our seat buttons there too. So if we look, we've got the option of moving forwards, backwards, up and down. We can also move our backrest forwards or backwards. And then we've also got our 4-way lumbar support. There is a button in the very middle there, and that's going to be to turn on the massage chair seats. So first row massage chair seats inside of the Platinum version of the truck are available there as an option. Swinging out to the side, and we also do have our power telescoping steering wheel. So we can move it in and out, up and down as necessary. One cool thing is that our steering wheel, our seats, as well as our side view mirrors can be programmed in. Once we come up with that perfect position, we're going to press and hold either 1, 2, or 3 to create that perfect setup for you so that it remembers your own personal settings. But back out to the side there, a few things to point out. We've got our zone lighting for the outside, so we can turn on our lights on the side view mirrors. Because we're in the electric truck, so the Lightning, we do also have our frunk release as well as our gate release. So we can open and close from the inside there. Moving down, we've got a button for our bed lighting. We can figure out what's going on with our running lamps. We've got our dimmer switch, so increase or decrease the brightness of the cluster screen. We've got the electronic parking brake, and then our power adjustable pedals. So if you're vertically challenged, we do have that as available as an option inside of the truck, which is fantastic. And down from there, I do want to give a user a shout out, so thank you for pointing this one out. I wasn't sure at first what this one does. It's actually an emergency release for the frunk. So because we're in the electric, in the regular gas version, we would pull this way in order to get underneath the hood. But because we're in the electric, we would pull here if the frunk's not opening for whatever reason. So we just give it a pull in order to get underneath. So thank you so much for pointing that one out, but it is pretty straightforward to use all at the same time. Well, this is nice, and one of the cool things, benefits of doing this one in the electric versus the regular gas is I can have this all going, and it's not going to make a big difference audio-wise, but this is really nice. This is really nice. Like, there are so many good things about the Platinum version of the truck. So let's go through some basics. I did already give you all of the highlights along the door. I like that we've got seat memory inside of this thing. And that nice stitching that follows all the way throughout the dash looks great. Up over top, we've got a little Bang & Olufsen badge, so our audio, which is fantastic. I'll get to the audio test in a minute there. But I like it, the steering wheel in the middle, we've got our nice Ford badge there, which is different than the typical blue oval that we're going to find in the steering wheel. Looks fairly sharp. We've got our adaptive cruise control system there. We've got some basic controls for our audio. We've got a little button along the bottom right of the left pad of the steering wheel, and that's going to be for our voice assistant. We can also use it for either Siri or our Google Assistant if we're hooked up through Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. But so many amazing things. I did mention if you want a little bit of a breakdown on how to use the steering wheel cluster or the Sync 4 media screen, check in the description down below. You'll be able to find the walkthrough videos on that specifically. But the steering wheel is nice. It is going to be heated steering wheel inside of this thing. We've got our Pro Trailer Backup Assist. So if you're backing up, if you're backing up a trailer, I guess that's true. If you're backing up a trailer, so if you want to go left, right, whatever the case may be, you do have that flexibility inside of this. But using the Backup Assist, all you have to do is twist the knob the direction you want the trailer to go, and it's automatically going to turn the wheel for you, which is fantastic. We've got our integrated brake controller on top of that. This one does have the Blue Cruise feature, which is going to be fully hands-free driving inside of the F-150. So it's neat because we've got cameras that watch our eyes, and as long as we're looking forward, not sleeping, not on our phones distracted, the system's gonna work, and it works really, really well. So one of the big benefits there is that you don't have to worry about having your hands on the wheel whatsoever. Like we would have our lane centering system in some other Ford vehicles, but this one, like fully hands-free driving. So it is a phenomenal system. But I love that we've got that available there. So much tech, like there's so much technology, like it's ridiculous. Inside of this screen, we've got so many great things. Like we've got access for our onboard scales, different drive modes that are available. We've got our intelligent backup power. We've got park assist. So this thing can help us out with parallel and perpendicular parking. Series of different driver assistance settings and some amazing things all on top of that. So the Platinum version, as I mentioned, is going to be pretty much like as fully loaded as it's going to get. Like we've got our Limited over and above that, but the Platinum is pretty dang close to fully loaded. But so many good features. One thing that I absolutely love that this truck has, first time I've ever seen this in a truck, by the way. Max recline seats. That's really nice. So we've got our Max recline seats inside of this thing, which, I mean, I love it. You're, taking a quick break. You need a little bit of a rest, relaxation. You've got that flexibility. One cool thing, so we've got a button, I pointed it along the side, and that's a hot button press in order to be able to turn on our massage chair seats. So we could be max reclined with our massage chair seats going, which is amazing. And that's for the driver passenger seat in the first row. So if you want a little bit more riding style, you do have that flexibility inside of this truck. But I like that we've got all of our different climate controls built right into the screen here. Underneath the screen, we do have our four-way blinkers. We've got our park assist button and a few other good things. Like, this thing is really, really nice. Oh, I love it. Lifetime. Amazing sound. The band is incredible. Like, I love the song. So good. And like through these speakers, it's just like infinitely better. So like nice deep bass. And that's because of the upgraded Bang & Olufsen sound system we have on the Platinum version of the truck. So we've got a few different options across the entire F-150 lineup, but the Platinum, that's a little bit more special. But it's really nice. We've got some other good features on top of that. So out to the side, we've got a little button that we can push if we want to show some slightly hidden storage. From there, we've also got our glove box. And then we've got a series of different power points. So we've got a 12-volt power point. We've also got another wall outlet in the front. So we've got wall outlet in the front, wall outlet in the second row, inside of the frunk of the electric, inside of the bed of the electric, the hybrid on top of that. So anything with Pro Power on board, essentially, we'll have it in the bed of the vehicle, which is fantastic. We've got a little slidable tray on top of that. So we push the tray out of the way. And moving in, we've got a few things that are inside of here. So we do have two USB ports, so USB as well as a USB-C, and we also have a wireless charging pad. From there, we're just going to gently push in order for this thing to fall backwards. But from there, we do have a little holder there, so a little bit of storage space, but it's technically for this. So for a power folding shifter, we've got our park reverse neutral drive, and we can easily lift that up again. A little storage space there. We've got a few cup holders, and then we even have a little holder there, so for the key fob. So if our fobs ever died and we're out of battery, essentially we need to start the car, we're just going to put our dead fob into the spot there in order to be able to turn it on off as necessary. Back down it goes. And then one of the cool things, we also have interior work surface area. So you're taking a quick break, you need to work, you need to eat, whatever the case may be. You've got this to keep you covered. I love that it's available inside of this truck. I think that it should probably be standard. The cost of it versus the functionality and feature, like, I love it. Like, could you technically just work here? Yeah, but having a workstation like dedicated, I think is phenomenal. Like, whoever designed this thing, absolutely brilliant. But we've got it opening that way. We've got this like beautiful platinum badge in the middle. And like, it's cool because if we look at some of the other highlights, like on the door, that styling follows through. So we've got this like leather on the outside with that nice gray stitching, black stitching in the middle. We've got our platinum badge in the very middle of this that follows through what's going on with our seats too. So we've got platinum badges everywhere. But we can lift up this way, and this, by the way, is lockable. So if you wanted to, you could just insert your emergency access key to lock there. We've got a fully removable tray. We've got 2 more USB power points down here, and we're like almost elbow deep inside of this thing. And like, sometimes getting elbow deep can be challenging, so that's kind of cool. So much space in there. I love it. 2 cup holders there, which is fantastic. And then as we move up overhead, the Platinum will have the auto-dimming rearview mirror. We've got some good controls for our cabin lights. This thing does have the panoramic sunroof. So the sunroof itself stretches across the entire length of the F-150, pretty much for the cab of the truck, but it only opens up about this far. So we've got the shade opening up fully. We can vent it out if we want to, or we close the vent, we open up, single button press. Nice. So single button press opens it up most of the way. Secondary button press opens it up that last little bit. But as you can see there, a good amount of space that it opens up. And then just another single button press in order to close it again. So very straightforward. We've got the button in order to be able to open and close our power sliding rear window. So all we do is just hold, and we have to hold. Like, if we stop part way, it's not going to open. So power sliding, but it is something that we have to also push and hold the button in order to be able to open and close. But I mean, super straightforward in order to do it. Typical Ford styling. We've got our sunglasses holder. We've also got our visor that has our HomeLink system. So if you've got a garage door opener at home, you can program that in. Business receipt card holder, business card or receipt holder. We've got a vanity mirror that has built-in lights. And then this thing extends out to block all of the sun that might be hitting our eyes, which is fantastic. But I mean, this thing, like, it is so feature loaded, so many amazing options, so much technology available inside of it. I love what Ford's done with it. Good styling. The Platinum version of the Lightning is going to be the highest trim level that's available versus in the regular gas versions. We've got the Limited, which is going to be one little step above. It's got its own limitations there, but if you want to walk through on the F-150 Limited, check down in the description below for that walkthrough instead. But I said, features, styling wise, this thing is pretty dang nice. Okay. This is nice. The seats inside of the Platinum are incredible. Like, I mentioned all of the crazy things that we can do with the front, with the first row seats. Like, having that max recline, I think, is absolutely brilliant. But the seats in the second row here are really, really nice all at the same time. Seats have a nice amount of bounce, nice amount of cushion to them, super comfortable. And like, I'm 6 feet tall, and in the back row here, I've got about 2.5 inches roughly of headspace there. So I mentioned this one does have the sunroof because we're looking at the Platinum version of the truck, but it is really nice. Like, it's so nice back here. Like, all of the same highlights that we saw in the first row with that stitching, the suede follows all the way throughout the door in the back here. That nice like wooden grain highlight. We've got a little cup holder along the top, our bottle holders along the back there. We've got cup holders behind the first row armrest. We've got some cup holders in the middle of the seat on top of that. So literally cup holders and good options all throughout. Behind the first row seats for the driver passenger side, we do also have our pockets there, so some storage pockets. We've got our nice Bang & Olufsen badge along both doors. Moving towards the center, we've got heated second row seats for the outboard seats. So the middle seat's not going to be heated whatsoever, but we do at least have that for the outboard seats, which is really nice. It would be kind of cool if we could get second row cooled seats on top of that. I know it's a big ask, but I think it would be amazing to have that technology mirrored first and second row. It'd be really nice. But moving down from there, we do have a cigarette lighter adapter. We've got 2 USB ports, so a USB, USB-C, and then there's also another wall outlet back here. So power points literally all over the place inside of this truck, which is amazing. Now, a few other things up overhead. We've got some hooks along the driver passenger side. We've got a little light control for the second row. And then we've got our assist handles, because you're probably going to need it, especially with the power inside of the Lightning. It's kind of ridiculous the amount of torque you can get inside of this truck. It's really nice. But a few other things to point out. I did mention this one does have the power sliding rear window, which is always a nice touch. If you've got child seats, front facing, rear facing, not going to be an issue inside of the Platinum, because we've got all of our anchors, we've got our tether points and things like that. So not an issue whatsoever inside of it. But I love the seats inside of the second row. It's really nice back here. I like it. But one other cool thing, this one also does have the partition lockable storage. So we've got a tab on the outside. We're just going to pull and lift up, and we can actually push the seats in order to lock them up into place. We would use the tab along the side, pulling that in order to be able to release. So we're going to give it a nice push, I should say, in order to lock it up. And that's going to be for both seats. So we've got a little tab, both sides. Oh, we lift up, lock, and they're both locked into place right now. And like, as you can see, like, I'm 6 feet tall. Like, it's a little uncomfortable with me like this, but I can still fit. And we've got our partition lockable storage here. So if you've got things that need to be locked down as you're transporting them, you would have that flexibility. You're going on hikes, whatever the case may be. It is kind of nice that we've got this as an available option. But few things. It's also foldable, and we can lock it down once it's folded, and it's really easy to do that. So as of right now, these things are unlocked. So if we flip over the lock, left or right, you can see we've got these little pieces that pop out, and that's what keeps it locked into place when it's down. So folding it down is really straightforward. We've got a little tab, and that's going to unlock both sides. So all we do is drop down, and as you can see, it folds in automatically. And then all we're going to do, let it drop, a little bit of pressure in the middle, and then we're just going to push the lock off to the side. And you can see we're fully locked down now. And all of a sudden, I have even more space back here. So I'm a big fan, like I said, if you've got things that you need to transport and have them locked, it is nice, but having this foldable lockable storage, I think, is brilliant. I love the design choice. It feels nice. Nice plastics throughout, and I did mention it is lockable along the side. And then opening and closing, really straightforward too. So, it's locked, so all we do is unlock, we lift up, we lift, and we're set to go, and it's that simple opening it. Once we have the seats back down, we've got the partition lockable storage up, we're just gonna go to our emergency access key. So on the bottom of our fob, we've got our little release. We're just gonna pull, lift. We've got our emergency access key now. And all we're gonna do, right along the side of the seat, we've got a little lock there. So we're just gonna insert, twist, and pull. And now this thing, fully locked down. So people wouldn't have the flexibility of, being able to open this thing up again until we reinsert that key in order to be able to lock and unlock. Well, folks, that was a look at the F150 Platinum. What did you think? I love this truck. The max recline seat, I think, is absolutely brilliant. All of the different features, like the rear partition lockable storage, I think is fantastic. Our tailgate step, blue cruise, our backup assist. There are so many amazing features that this truck has. What do you think? If you have any questions, you want to bounce some ideas off of me, drop down in the comment section below and let me know. Feel free to reach out on social media if you have any questions. You can find those links down in the description. You can find the build link for this specific truck with the link off to the Ford.com and .ca websites on top of that. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your social networks, and until I see you next time, take care.